Then we're going to see.
Learn about MMPC-002 Human Resource Management Block 2, under which Unit 4, 5, 6, and 7. Let's say human resource planning first. Human resource planning may be defined as a strategy for acquisition, utilization, development, and retention of the human resources of an enterprise. The objective is to provide you right human resources at the right time, at the right work, and optimum utilization of human resources which are already working in the organization. Human resource planning is basically a planning process of the entire business, because the business run by the workforce only. The activity of management which is aimed at coordinating requirements and for the availability of different types of employers. The major activities of human resource planning includes forecasting, inventory, anticipating, and planning. The forecasting refers to the future planning or future requirements. Inventorying refers to the present strength based on the existing workforce. And anticipating is comparison of present and future requirements, and the planning is definitely a necessary programs to meet future requirements. The main objectives of human resource planning is assessing manpower needs for future and making plans for recruitment and selection, assessing skill requirement in future for the organization, determining the training and development needs of the organization, anticipating surplus or shortage of staff and avoiding unnecessary detentions or dismissals, controlling wage and salary cost. It ensures ensuring the optimal use of the human resources of organization, helping the organization to cope with rapid changes in technology and modernization, ensuring career planning and ensuring higher labor productivity. There are certain benefits. The majorly it creates a reservoir of talent. It prepares for future needs, future HR needs specifically. It promotes employee in a very systematic manner. It provides basis of a human resource development. It helps in career and succession planning. When we talk about the reservoir of talent relates with the people who are already working in the organization. What are their credentials? What are their specifications? What are their certifications on specific skill set? It definitely help the entire HR department or HR needs for the further progression of the company or the organization. It is no the when we are talking about the planning it always been in a very systematic and organized manner. It also provides a basis for learning and development or human resource development, and definitely it helps in career and succession planning, which we will discuss further in further slides. Now, what is HRP at macro level? One, employment and unemployment situation. It balances between employment and unemployment. It refers to the technological changes which is happening around the world, organizational changes, demographic changes, which refers to the age, sex, geographical areas, gender types, also the diverse workforce, skill shortages. When we talk about the skill shortages, here we focus on the skill development of the existing employees and the skilled manpower which is required in an organization due to rapid technological changes or maybe for any other reasons. Government influences, it refers to the external environment which impact on an organization or the industry or overall, and legislative controls. The determinants of human resource planning is majorly external or internal. External refers to the government policies, rules and regulations, level of economic development, which includes the supply of human resources, business environment overall. We can also quote it as globalization, level of technology. We have seen rapid changes in the technological advances day by day. which is also external factor, and international factor, which is also relates with upcoming new industries within the same geographical areas. Rapid increase in multinational companies, mergers, acquisitions, and all. Whereas the internal factors, when we say, it is all related within an organization, which is relates with the policies and strategies of the organization, human resource policies of the company, formal and informal groups which are formed within the organization, job analysis, which defines a job specification, job descriptions, and job evaluation, and related with of the employees, time horizons, type and quality of information, which is already within the organization, companies' operational policies, and trade unions, which relate with the employer-employee relationships in terms of conflicts or mutual benefits. Level of human resource planning is mainly on 4 levels. First is on national level, that relates with the government plans of human resources at the national level. It forecasts the demand and supply of human resources. For example, the India specified human resource planning for the 5-year plans. So here we talk about the national level planning. How many people are required for specific projects if something is coming on a very broader or very long term way out. Sectoral levels refers to central and state government rather formulate HRPs for different sectors. For example, industrial sector, agriculture sector, IT sector, telecom sector. So it depends on what sector human resource planning has been done. Industrial sector, HRP is specific industries to be prepared by a particular industry segments. Unit level is on a very micro level where the particular department or the sector or the industry or organization is prepared at this level. It includes the plant level, department level, or even at the divisional level of an organization. HR planning process, the first step is assessing the human resource. Assessing the human resource refers to where the human resources, the workforce analysis has been done. How much workforce is presently available in the organization and how much we require for the said project. For example, a company or an organization have a project of where 1,000 people are required. So they assess that for next 3 or 6 months of the tenure of the project, how many workforce is available. For example, if a company have 300 workforce, so how they can be able to manage the 700 of the workforce which is required to complete the project within the time horizon. That comes to the demand forecasting, and demand forecasting further refers to the supply forecasting, that how much workforce can be we can be able to supply or we can get it. Then we match the supply, demand and supply of the workforce, and finally the action plan takes in terms of further on a recruitment and selection part. HR demand forecasting refers to the demand forecasting of the human resources or the workforce analysis. It is done either on quantitative or qualitative part. When we say quantitative, it is quantitative. It is trend analysis, and it is done on a modeling on multiple predictive techniques. Trend analysis refers to when an industry has certain trend which is going on, and they come up with the figures on what is how much the workforce is required to fulfill that particular demand. So they work on the trend analysis, and the modeling or the multiple predictive techniques are refers to on different dimensions, multiple parameters like time, age. Maybe for example, we need the people, the demand of the people from IT segment is more on one specific, the language. There we not only, and it is on a the other parameter that it is required in the multiple shifts. So there we not only consider the certification or the qualification, we also see the age of or the location of the workforce which is available in that specific time. So they work on multiple predictive techniques, whereas the qualitative refers to the expert's forecast. Expert forecast refers to the people who are experts in that particular technique or the area. They give their own forecast. They forecast on what is need to be done, and what they accordingly they do the human resource planning. Whereas the Delphi technique involves the group of people who give their the experts advice on specific the projects or specific industry norms and whatever is required at that point of time. So HR planners many times go beyond and analyze the demand also on the basis of workforce analysis, workload analysis, and job analysis. So workforce analysis is the rate of influx and outflow of the employees, how many people are joining and how many people are separating from the organization. Whereas the workload analysis calculates the number of people required or the number of employees required for various jobs with reference of planned output to complete the project within the time horizon. Job analysis refers to finding out the abilities and the skills required to do the job effectively and efficiently. It further bifurcated under job description and job specification. HR supply forecasting. HR supply forecasting is again mainly on internal and external. So internal is based on staffing chart and Markov analysis, whereas the external is all about, it is on the four staffing charts, Markov analysis, skill inventory, and replacement charts. Whereas the external is not only the cost of procuring the labor from internal sources is more, and also to present the staff cannot be spared for the future assignments, and company prefers to the external resources unless it is not on a very high demand. Normally it is not, the supply is not from the outside, they are within the within the organization, because the inventory and the charts and the analysis has been done within an organization with due respect of human resources, skill inventory, and it is done by human resource department mainly, unless it is not very crucial, or maybe the labor procuring or retaining the workforce is difficult, or maybe in case of any uncertainty, there they look after the future assignments where the company look out for the external vendors for the supply of their human resources. HR gap analysis is the final stage to balance out the demand and supply gaps. The closer the gap is better for the company, because when it actually goes into procuring the workforce, the comparison chart can be developed to find out what is available and to what extent it can be fulfill the demand forecast. This exercise helps us to have an idea of quantitative and qualitative gaps in the workforce. The reconciliation of demand and supply forecast will give the number of people to be recruited or made redundant as case may be. The human resource requirements thus identified as to be translated into concrete HR plan. It is backed by the policies, the rules, regulations, and other human resource instruments and strategies, which involves not only the planning but also the further analysis of let's talk about the job analysis, then it further strategize into job description and job specifications. In this process, a company always need to keep repeating this step as it operates in changing environment, because with change in workforce, with change in inclusivity, with change in diversity, with change in rapid technological advances, the product mix, the union agreements, or the competitive action are the some important things that need to be have the special attention on that. HR operative plan. There are certain sub-plans on this or under the umbrella of HR operative plan. One is recruitment plan, which indicate the number and type of people required when they are needed, special plans to recruit right people and how they can be deal with the recruitment program. Redeployment plan refers to the programs where the transferring or retraining existing employees for new jobs, maybe in terms of refresher trainings or trainings for the growth or training for the promotions. Redundancy plan indicates who is redundant, when and where, the plan for retaining, when there is possible plans for golden handshake, retrenchments, layoffs, etc. Training plans, it indicates the number of trainees or apprentices required and the program for recruiting or training them. There they make the plan because the training budget makes on the the people whom we wanted or the employees or an organization wanted to train. The existing staff required training or retraining, then the new courses to be delivered. Maybe if there is any changes in the organization, redesigning, then there are certain refresher or retrainings on those employees. If for example, if a company is getting into from paper to entire digitalization, there the training is required for the existing employees. So it considered to be as a training plan. Then is productivity plan. It indicates the reasons for employee productivity or reducing employees' cost through work simplification studies, mechanism, or the productivity bargaining, or the incentives and profit sharing schemes, job designing, ad redesigning, etc. Retention plan. It indicates the reason for employees' turnover and shows strategies to avoid wastage through compensation policies. Then is controlled points. The entire manpower plan be subjected to close monitoring from time to time. There are certain problems in human resource processes. First can be inaccuracy. If it is not done properly, the analysis of forecasting and supply cannot be 100% accurate sometimes. If there is a chance of inaccuracy where it is very difficult for further to recruit and further replanning of the human resources. Then employee resistance. Sometimes we have seen the employees are resistant that the human resource planning, the workload and increases, and they resist the process. Then there are certain uncertainties like labor turnovers or seasonal unemployments, sometimes labor absenteeism. We have seen one of the major uncertainty during the COVID, because there all the human resource planning was not working, and it was not worked accordingly as per plan. Inefficient information system in Indian industry, HRIS, human resource information system, is not much strong. So in absence of reliable data, it is sometimes very difficult to develop the effective planning processes. And due to that, it is time consuming, and it is cost bearing. Expensive service exercises are included in that. So we can avoid that, but it all depends on what kind of analysis we have done before, and accordingly, the assessment, the first step, is very important in human resource planning. To avoid all these problems, there are certain guidelines to improve the effectiveness of human resource planning process. Human resource planning should be balanced with corporate objective. It should be linked with the organizational objectives. And the period of human resource planning should be appropriate. It should not be very tight deadlines or tight timelines, where it should be on a very reliable and very practical aspects. Then human resource planning process should be properly organized. because sometimes it is seen that planning is done in a very a very efficient manner, but when it comes to an organization of the entire planning process, sometimes people lack on that, because it may be because of the other task or the time constraints, or maybe some other related work. Before starting the human resource planning, the commitment of top management should be ensured. It has to be a link with the top management people, so that the support should be there every time, because planning is one thing which is done, from top to done for the top to the junior management levels, but top management is there to strategize and support the planning process, because then only it comes to the down the line. Then HRP is successful only when entire organization participating to that, maybe in terms of need analysis, or filling the questionnaire, or the gap analysis, or talking about the training or retraining about the any of the project, or changes within the organization. Then adequate database has to be maintained. Unless HRIS is not updated, it is sometimes very difficult to facilitate the human resource planning process. The quantity and quality should be stressed in a balanced manner. It should be forecasted in a very balanced way, so that it should be cost effective and time saving process. Let's see what is job analysis, design, and evaluation. When we say job analysis as the term defines, it is all about the analysis of the particular job. It is a fundamental process that forms the basis of all human resource activities. In the simplest term, the job analysis is a systematic process for gathering, documenting, analyzing data about the work required for the job. The data collected in job analysis are reflected through a job description. It includes a description of context, the principal duties of the job, information about the skill, responsibilities, mental models, and techniques of the job analysis. This includes the positional analysis questionnaire, which includes the human behaviors and interviews, or task inventories, or functional job analysis, or job element methods. The job analysis provides the overall or a very specific picture of the job, not the person performing the job. It is all about the job, all about the fundamental information about which supports the HR activity. The other activities such as recruitment, training and development, succession planning, career planning, performance appraisal. So it is said, once the job analysis has been done correctly, we can be able to get the right person at the right job. We can be able to do the succession planning. We can be able to do training and development effectively. So job analysis is very important, and it is very crucial also when we talk about the human resource activities. It not only ensures the decisions which made in respect of HR processes that is fair and correct, and it ensures the defensibility of decisions made to employees, and to the resulting in good HR management, and of course to the courts in terms of resulting of saving of cost, time, and reputation of an organization. Certain objectives of job analysis are: it indicate training needs, it put together work groups or the teams together, provide information to collect surveys and salary surveys, it determine basis for the selection plan, it provides a basis for putting together recruitments, describe the physical needs of various positions to determine the validity of discrimination complaints, input for organizational analysis, input for strategic planning, input for human relations, needs assessments, and also the base for the coordinating safety concerns. Aspects of jobs to be analyzed: duties and tasks, which is very important. It includes what is the duration of the duty or the task, how much effort is required, what are the skill or the certification is required, what equipments need to be handled, what is the frequency of doing that particular duty. So it is very important to analyze on the specification on the information of that specific task. Then second is environment. Environment it plays a significant impact on physical requirements to perform the job. It may include unpleasant conditions like extreme temperature, or some may pose a definite risk to the personnel. And then it is tools and equipments, or maybe the items which are related to to do the task or the duties in a specific manner. For example, if for medicals, it is POP kits are required, so it has to be supplied to them at the right time in a proper sanitization. Hygiene factors need to be considered. Or when we talk about the plant level, all the safety tools, equipment should be, or maybe, for example, the helmets, or for the gloves, the safety boots needs to be provided to the workers or the employees to do their task in terms of electrical or power sector. Then the other aspect is relationship, which is mainly related to the human behavior. It is all about give and receive, the relationship with internal and even with the external people who are inclined towards that particular or related, aligned with that particular job. Then the requirement of KSA is very important. That is knowledge, skill, and abilities to do that particular task. The employee or the person may have higher KSA than those required for the job. Only states the minimum requirement. Job analysis typically only states the minimum requirement to provide the job. So while doing promotion, we talk about KSAs. While recruiting, we talk about KSAs, that how much knowledge, skills, and abilities a person have to do that specific task. Let's see the human resource management cycle and where the application of job analysis data. When we design the job, it should meet the production goals. It should be career ladders. While designing the job, it should remove artificial barriers and employment to special groups as well. So it is when we design, then we classify or evaluate. Classification can be done like on the written description of job content, then identification of crucial job requirements, assessment of job to relation to others, and determining pay. After classifying or evaluating the job on the basis of job description or job specification, then it comes to recruitment. Recruitment is all about the clear statement of that particular job content, which is required at that for particular task. Then it comes to staffing. Staffing refers to the identification of special selection factors. Here, when we talk about staffing, it is development of valid selection instruments and measures need to be used while doing staffing. Then it is after staffing, training is required, and the next step is training. When we are talking about training, it is an identification of competence. It can be for the new employees, it can be for the existing employees, it can be for the retraining or upskilling the existing manpower, and it can be development of relevant curriculum which is required. It can be classroom training, on the job training, hybrid training, or maybe any form of training, or maybe on the job training. It depends on the job, it depends on the task which is being assigned. Then after doing training and to be work on the job, there comes the appraisal time, which is also called appraisal performance. It is identification of critical job statements, development of performance criteria. Certain performance criteria are defined while doing the performance. These pointers need to be mentioned and taken into consideration. And then finally is managing the performance. Managing the performance is all about promotions, rewards, increase in salary, not even promotion, it can be otherwise demotions also, separations also, or maybe sometimes a restructuring of job, which we also call sometimes a redesigning of that particular job, which can occur due to some changes happening in external or even internal environment of an organization. So this is a cycle which refers to the human resource management with the context of job analysis only. So first is job analysis, data collection, how we can collect the data. First and the foremost instrument is questionnaire. It should provide the basic information of job title of the job holder, job holder's superior's name, whom they are reporting, basically the title of, not name, but the title of that particular person. Then job titles and numbers of staff reporting to them. So we can say in terms of reporters, reportees, and reporting job title should be there. A brief description on overall role or purpose of the job. The list of the key tasks the job holder is carrying on, and also specify the resources that is controlled, the equipment used, the contacts made, and the frequency which the tasks are carried out. The other way of collecting the data is interview method. Interview method is a logical sequence of the questions. The question can be open-ended or closed-ended. It depends on the job, as well as also as on the basis of on the basis of task, as well as on the employees or the person who we are collecting the data, which help in order to the thoughts about the job. They pin people down on what they actually do. They ensure during interview the job holder is not allowed to get away with the inflated description of the work, because they need, if they talk about the vague or the inflated description, they need to get the justification of each and every statement, which they cannot escape that. So one can obtain a clear statement from the job holder about his or her authorities, or to make decisions, and about the guidance receiving about the superiors, or maybe even at doing the specific time, about the time duration taken to do the specific task, or what responsibilities has to be aligned with that particular task, or what are the responsibilities which are not required to that particular task. So basically, job description and job specification is a bifurcation, or it is the two types of job done in job analysis is done in two types. One is job description, which includes only about the job title, job location, summary, whom they are reporting to, what are the working hours, what are the working conditions, tools and equipments on the machine, or maybe in IT when we talk about the languages to be known, or maybe any certifications which are required, or maybe any hazards which are included in that. So it is also included the shifts of the that shift, day shift or night shift, or maybe what timing they are working with, how many leave, how many offs are there, how many working days are there. So this is all about the job description. Now, job specification is all about that particular job. What is required to do that job? Maybe qualification, experience, what training and certifications are required. Then it is all about skills, responsibilities, emotional characteristic, human behavior sometimes, and sometimes it is sensory demands also, which is mentioned in job specification. So it needs to, job description is all about job, and job specification is all about where, what to do, what is included, what is required to do that particular job. Then job design. Job design has emerged an very important area in work analysis. Sometimes it go beyond designing, and after doing the analysis and assessments, after doing the final feedbacks or the evaluations, sometimes job design move to job redesigning. It is based on growing conceptual and empirical base, and it is based on the researches which is being widely applied to actual practices happening, or what is the practices actually in the industry, on the management, on the the job design is more considered to be inclined towards a scientific management movement, which was given by F.W. Taylor and Kilbreth. They examine the jobs, they come up with time and motion analysis, they talk about the incentive schemes, they talk about the fixed terms, they talk about the training, and Taylor talk about the training and development. He advocate on that. And the goal, major goal is to increase the human efficiency at the job. So the job designing actually evolved popularly also known as job engineering. So the industrial engineering approach comes out of that, and basically concerned with products, processes, the tool design, the layouts of the plant, even the 5S methodology or Kaizen or operating procedures or work measurements, standards, human-machine interaction, and that even the time of human-machine interaction is also defined and designed accordingly. So let's see basic differences or the meanings of job rotation, job enlargement, and job enrichment, which is very much relates with the job analysis part. Job rotation is all about the moving of employees from different from one particular task or one particular job to another. The major objective is to increase the variety and reduce the monotony for the employee, because it is seen the people who work on one particular job or one particular task in a very monotonous way, they get they feel they're not very much motivated to do the work very efficiently. So variety of cross training is involved on that. Whenever a person, it is normally seen at the banking industry, and to prevent the burnout and increase the skill of particular employees, horizontal movement between the roles. Then there is, but there is low involvement in decision making, because they hop on or they changes their jobs or the task on and on. So moving a worker from production line to quality control, it is also very common within at the plant layouts, because that's very interrelated kind of work portfolio they move on. Even quality and R&D functional areas are also very much interrelated, where people moved from quality to R&D, and sometimes they also look after the quality checks or on quality insurance. There are two, if we go at a micro level, then it is at the quality control itself includes the quality control and quality assurance executives at the shop floor differently, but sometimes they are rotated to look after the assurance, or maybe sometimes at the control level. So this is when we say job enlargement. Enlargement itself is self-defined as an expanding the scope of job, or maybe doing more tasks, more work on the same level of responsibility. The task variety at the same level, it again has a very low in decision making, and it is adding more and more administrative work most of the time to the technical role. For example, we're talking about quality control, so even they are responsible to do the quality checks and do the all the paperwork which is required to mention the quality checks and the quality assurances. Then it comes to the job enrichment. Enrichment again is self-explanatory, which defines the depth of adding more meaningful tasks and giving employees more control for out of that. Employee autonomy and personal growth is very much involved in that. Enhanced motivation, satisfaction, and growth is involved. Then very high involvement in decision making, because here the employees who are actually doing a job on a very deep level, they are mainly the strategy people, and they work on a very the planning or very strategic roles. So their decision making authority is very high. It allows the employees to set their own work schedules also, because most of the people are on a senior level positions, so they may have schedule their own working times or something like that. So here it is all about not enriching only the job, it is all about in-depth analysis, in-depth meaningful work what they are doing. So this is all about job rotation, enlargement, and job enrichment. But the most and important, after doing all this analysis, evaluation is very important, because unless there is no evaluation, how can the organization or the HR department comes to what they have done and what they are working on, whether it is correct or not. So it is a process of assessing the relative worth of the jobs within an organization to establish the fair compensations. It not only ensures the employees to paid equably based on demands, but also the skills and the responsibilities are distributed for each job. The main components of this is job analysis, because the detailed information about the job responsibilities, tasks, and required skills are in the job analysis. Then it is job ranking, where the values and the importance of jobs relative to each other. Then is compensation structure. So on the basis of job evaluation, only one is promoted or demoted, and or maybe the establishing a pay scale or a compensation is decided on a job evaluation results only. So the main benefits of job evaluation is to promote the equity and fairness in compensation. Then it reduces the wage discrimination. The effective pay structure comes along with that, and it clarifies the job responsibilities and roles within an organization, because this is very important for as an individual, as an employee, to know their job or task or duties to be very specified, so that they can be able to manage they are mentally or physically prepared for that particular task. Let's talk about the next step as recruitment and selection. So recruitment is a process of identifying the prospective employees, stimulating and encouraging them to apply for a job or jobs in an organization. It is a positive action, involves inviting people to apply. The factors affecting job recruitment is geographical factors. Employment conditions where the organization is located can become a potential factor for attracting job applications. Effects of past recruitment successes, policies of an organization, or compensation and benefit packages offered by the organization influence the number of applications. So these all factors definitely impact the recruitment process, which includes the physical specifications. For certain jobs, some physical features may be required. For example, for heavy load machine, the organization need a well-built person to operate that particular machine. Mainly, it is preferred male employees, or maybe for the customer service, they want some soft skills, or maybe a person who is presentable to handle the customers effectively in a very patient manner, in a very soft manner, so that it should not be hamper their jobs. As well as sometimes we have seen, for example, we need organization needs the security personnel. They need the heavy built people to be placed at the event for the security reasons. So certain physical specification is required for each job. So during the recruitment process, normally it has been given in the the advertisements, uh, posted on job portals or in newspapers or through references, or maybe it is discussed during the interview process also. So mental specifications in some jobs are included, like judgment in skills, memories, intelligence, emotional intelligence, ability to read and write. So arithmetics, in some specification, arithmetic abilities are more required. Somewhere verbal abilities are much more required. For example, a trainer, it is the mental specification can be a person has to be verbally verbal abilities has to be very strong. They has to be a good speaker, or maybe if they are from a content development profile is included, so they has to be good in making presentations, or good in making so they have to have that kind of ability to sit patiently at the making the PPTs out of the textbooks, or something related out of that. So emotional and social specifications is equally important when we talk about the characteristics. Here, not only includes the personal appearance, but also the mental and the emotional stability. Aggressiveness or subbiness is also seen. Extroversion or introversion, the leadership or the cooperativeness, initiatives and drive, skills in dealing with others. For example, the recruitment is for the sales employees. There, we need the person who is extrovert. We can a company organization cannot shortlist only on the qualification or the degree they hold on, but they need specification, or the person has to be extrovert. So certain psychometric test or certain recruitment test they need to go undergone, so that or maybe the interview process, they find out the nature of that particular person, about the social or emotional specifications, where adaptability is equally important. Being extrovert, one needs to be in good in that particular work ability. So the behavioral specification again is expected to behave at particular moment. Here the situational analysis is done, or a case study, or maybe some specific scenario is given to a person, and they ask to react or give their views on that. So accordingly the recruitment process not only fills with physical or mental, or the qualification mentioned on that. So these are few of the specifications which are required during the recruitment process. So application scrutiny is done on a very initial stage. After that, the application shortlisting is done. For example, for a posting of one job, HR department receives 500 resumes. Out of that, 100 resumes are shortlisted for that particular job. Then selection test, the shortlisted candidate need to pass the selection test, then interview, after interview, it can be virtual, it can be physical. Then physical examination, which is mainly a medical examination. Then is reference check, and then is final selection. So methods of recruitment, when we say it is direct method or indirect method, and there is another third party method. When we say direct method, it is directly through the schools and colleges. The recruitment agency or the organization approach the colleges or the students of the higher education institutions, IITs or IIMs, or even at the the under the the initiatives what they are undergoing. So that is direct method where there is no mediator in between. Then there is employees contract with the public. Employees inform their network, within the network, within the company, or maybe within the organization. That is also called referral methods. Methods where what the organizations are following. Even at the individual level also, a person, if wants to recruit, they normally goes to their network first, among their friends and relatives, to about the job openings. Then there are manned habits, that is sending recruiters to conventions or seminars or job fairs, and using mobile offices for recruitments. So it also saves times, of the recruiters as well as of the applicants. Then there are indirect methods, which are advertising, mainly the advertising on the newspapers, journals, on the websites, on the portals. So it is all about advertising that particular job. They place the advertisements in that particular the source. Then there is third party methods, which includes the employment agencies, where the agencies are specialized in recruitment on the specific occupation. The state and public employment agencies or executive search agencies. Now, private employment agencies are specializing in specific occupation. For example, security personnel. They only we can find employment agencies which are specialized in only providing the security personnel to the organizations, or to the events, or to any even to the public or private events both. So executive search agencies are mainly or majorly known for the managerial, marketing or technical positions. They are also called as headhunters. Headhunters refers to the people who hunt or maybe approach the people from the similar role of organization, and approach the people from that, and ask them for the job change, or maybe give them some offers out of that. So deputation is again employees with specialized skills are sent temporarily to the organization. Then there are other methods, which are trade unions or professional societies, help agencies, labor force, deputation, etc. Successive hurdle technique is go-no-go gauges, where it is not a selection process. It includes these hurdles. The complexities of process usually increases with level and responsibility of the position to be filled. Hurdles need not necessarily to be placed. Their arrangement will differ from organization to organization. So this diagram shows very well depict the go-no-go gauges, because one who qualify the hurdle and go to next one, otherwise they dropped out. So selection tests are mainly achievement or intelligence test, aptitude or potential ability test, personality test, interest test. So these are the measures. These are the major tests which are required during the selection testing of the. It can be objective, mental test, aptitude test, or psychomotoric motors test, questionnaires. But it does not guarantee 100% prediction on the job success. It is mainly on the large pool of the candidates. So we have to develop some norms on these selection tests, assign proper weightage, competence or scoring has to be very correct. Administration and interpretation of the psychometric test should be done by the qualified and certified people only. Interview process is informal, formal, planned, pattern, non-directive. It can be stress interview, group interviews, panel interviews. Interview rating can be done on intelligence, special aptitude, interest, disposition, circumstances, and all. So there are certain guidelines which clear the time schedule, enough time for the interview, ensure privacy, listen very carefully. So knowledge of the job is also very important for the quality of one of the good interviewers. Physical examination includes the medical history about the applicant, examination of not only physical but also pathological test, visually, auditory, even sometimes a neuropsychiatric examination is also required. Reference check refers to the application, the names and addresses of the person who usually know them well. It is more mainly from the professional colleagues. Organization socialization refers to the process by which persons acquire the knowledge, skills, and disposition that make them more or less able members of their society. We are born into this world of socialization. So, making within a narrower range with a customary and acceptable. The process of integration refers from individual values, beliefs, and attitudes to the process of learning and adapting the new and expectations and requirements of the organizational boundary. Every time an organization takes new member to in subject of new influences, increasing likelihood of change. Self-image is very important when we talk about the individual, and that undergoes such changes when they interact with the organization and learn new tasks and roles. For example, a CA fresh from examination is accounting theory and practice may have to modify his approach significantly to fit into organizational practices. Self-concept refers to the compatibility, misalignment. Self-concept is basically not fixed. There are multiple roles of an employee. They can be leader, follower, stockholder, husband, friend, sometimes golfer, worker, club president, consumer, or so on. Role and concept and conflict in an organization is expected actions based on social positions and interactions, multiple roles they have to play. Role perception is very important, and managerial roles. Status and socializations refers to formal status and informal status. Status specialization refers to ranking and comparison, status symbol, systems, and desires for status. Impact of status loss is all about emotional consequences, responsibility. Socialization in organization refers on to human diversity, subcultures, gender differences, avoiding stereotyping. Socialization factors in organization. Socialization is a dual process. Cross-cultural comparisons are there. We can see cross-culture in Japan's and US practices. Multinational context, the challenges are there. Adapting practices is very important. Then is induction. Induction is a process which employee introduced to an organization. Steps of induction is general orientation of the staff. Sometimes it's specific to the job supervisor. Purpose of mobility is to serve and improve organizational effectiveness, employee efficiency, changes in operation, and ensure discipline. Promotion is on the basis of seniority or merit. It is easy to measure, reduce turnover, provide satisfaction to senior employees. Demotion is a reverse of emotion where the status and responsibility lowers down. Transfer is the horizontal or lateral movement of the employee for one job. Certain transfers are production replacement, versatility, personnel, remedial, or shift transfer. The separation refers to the resignation, either retirement or suspension, retrenchment, layoffs, or death of a person. So basically, we talk about the socialization, mobility, key organization functions, selection processes, job analysis, job design, human resource planning, importance of human resource planning, human resource processes. We talk about the socialization from organizational context as well as the mainly recruitment and selection process. Job analysis has to be done on job roles and responsibilities. We talk about the necessary steps to be taken to evolve in business conditions and workforce demands, and also the organizational analysis in terms of demand and supply forecasting, employee workforce gaps, as well as the other aspects which are related to the organized human resource management with context of human resource planning, with context of socialization, with context of mobility, with context of selection process, includes the entire steps of from receiving an application to the final selection, includes the test, the types of interviews, and the physical examination, the references check, then later the induction and absorption, the clear, the self-concept or the self-image of a person within an organization, and maintaining their own image within an organization in terms of socialization and understanding the individual roles and job concepts in the market. We also talk about the end of service, lastly, with resignation, retirement, dismissal, suspensions, layoff, or death of any employee. Thank you for all this. Namaste.